Well, is my mic on? And is my mic on? And is my mic on? Hey, friends and family. Thank you for joining me. I'm your girl Lizzie right here with Life with Lizzie, and I'm back in this toolbox. I know y'all kind of looking for my guy, but Mike's not here. It's just me tonight in the box. And I hope that you're okay with that. That today that we can still have a good old conversation right here at Believe Radio, your gospel music and Christian radio station. Do me a favor, like I tell you every Saturday at 12 p.m. Tag a neighbor, call a friend, let them know that Lizzie is in and I'm here to talk about life, but more so marriages and relationships. Listen, I've been promising you all that I had a guest that was coming that you will never, ever, ever forget. I know I kind of kept it a little secret. I kind of dropped a couple of nuggets, but guess what? We are here tonight. We are here today, whatever time zone you're watching in. Nevertheless, we are here, and I am so honored. I am so thrilled to bring my friend, my brother, to the toolbox. Y'all do me a favor and welcome Dr. David Burris to the box. Hello,
Sister of
sir.
mine, sister of
Hey,
mine.
how
What up,
you
fam?
doing, sir?
I'm excited to be here.
I
Happy to
am
be
glad
here.
that you are here. I'm glad for your yes. I'm just overwhelmed. Listen, sir, you are amazing. You are booked and busy, and listen, changing lives one
Wow.
stage at a time. So we're
Wow.
grateful that you have dropped in the box. How you doing?
I'm doing exceptional. Thank you for having
Good,
me.
good. I'm glad to hear that. Listen, our inboxes and our emails have been blowing up because I have been sharing with the people. I have someone that is coming that I believe deep down in my heart has something to share with you and your spouse, and how to make sure that your relationships continue to gel. I can say one thing about Dr. Burris is that he is very, very not so biased. He's not for the brothers, he's not for the sisters, but he is about what is right
That's
and
right.
what is, I believe, what God would have us to know and to partake and to really embrace this wisdom that he shares. And so, again, he's here, y'all. And I have all of y'all questions that you hit me up in the inbox and you sent those emails to believeradio.lifewithlizzie@gmail.com. Tonight is our night. Today is our day. Dr. Burris,
Sister of
what's
mine.
going on? How have you been? How have you been?
I've been good. I have
Mm-hmm.
been thriving.
Mm-hmm.
I wish my brother was here with us. You
Listen,
know,
listen. I'm gonna see what I can do in the
I'm missing.
meantime.
I'm
I'm
missing the
gonna see what I
bishop.
can
You
do.
know.
Cause he out here doing what you encourage all the brothers to do. Make
He's
sure the
being a
wife is
husband.
smiling. Like he's
Yeah,
husbanding
he's
right
being a
now. He
husband.
getting cupcakes for the baby's birthday
I love
tomorrow.
it. I love it. He's
Right.
husbanding. We love it.
He's husbanding. You encourage that oh so well. So just for the two people that live underneath the rock and don't know who Dr. David Burris is, tell us who is Dr. David Burris.
Yeah, so I am a native of Richmond, California, born and raised, proud to be from the Bay. I currently live in LA with my wife and my two sons, 19 and 16. I'm a believer. I'm a husband. I'm a father. I'm an author. I'm a coach.
Mhm.
And I'm a person who's really given to helping people get relationships right. That's my
Yeah.
sole purpose.
Wow. Wow. How did you know? When did you know that that was your purpose? Relationships and marriages. How?
Yeah, so when I was a kid, probably 9 or 10 years old, I went to a therapist when I was a child, and it happened to be my aunt's therapy practice.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw her. She's a marriage and family therapy. She's a marriage and family therapist. I just saw her working with kids and working with adults and working with families. And I was like, I want to do that one day. And I didn't know God was going to do it this way, but that's the journey He had for me. And I'm here, and I love what I do. It's how I make my living. I do it every day.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it, and we love seeing you do what you do. It's pretty amazing, and I'm a Richmond girl too, and I just said
Yeah,
tonight and today, listen, real Richmond is gonna solve some real problems.
yeah. Real Richmond
Yeah,
is in the building.
real
Yeah.
Richmond is gonna
Oh yeah.
solve some real problems, and
Yeah.
so listen, I want to dig right in. I don't want to bore anyone's patience. I want to say how much just as a partaker of what you have to offer, like I'm on your page every day.
Wow.
Like
Thank you, sister.
what Dave's saying today,
Wow.
because you don't I'm not sure how many people, come back to tell you how much of your giving yourself permission to think differently changes and
Yeah.
has been that seed in our lives, in our marriages, to make us think. Because
Yeah.
sometimes we can be so bent on our way of thinking
That's
that
correct.
we don't give ourselves permission to think differently, and we don't give ourselves permission to receive differently.
That's
And
correct.
so I want to say thank you just for those daily nuggets. I'm pretty sure, that's a lot, but your content is blessing so many.
Wow.
I'm a partaker straight up and down, no chasers. And so I want to
Thank
say
you.
thank you so much for just being diligent, being consistent, posting. I mean, it's amazing just to see what God is doing and what God has done. So listen,
Yeah.
I'm gonna forever be a David Burris fan. So
Thank you,
I know
sister.
I'm not the only ones, because I'm looking in these comments and they ready to go. So I asked them to send me questions that you could answer. Well, I said
Yeah.
I have a special guest that's coming that they could answer. And so I got some of the most interesting and amazing, but yet I can sense that they were heartfelt questions, and they were really wanting to know, what do I do?
Yeah.
It's one thing to know, like, what do I do, with cooking or cleaning, but it's something when you're talking about being intimate. How do I save my marriage? How do
That's
I
right.
really want to know? It's not something like, okay, yeah, I can take it or leave it. But some of these questions, I can discern that they really, really want to know, because this is going to be what makes it or breaks it. And so
That's
I
right.
selected a couple that I felt like we could just really have a real honest dialogue about. And the first one that got my attention is one viewer wrote and said, how important is it to be honest with yourself about the
Mm.
emotions that you're currently having? And I'm
Mm.
going to assume that it could be in heated conflict, but
Mm.
how important is it to be honest about your emotions with your spouse? Because how many times do we downplay how we really feel?
Sis.
How
You know,
important is it to be honest?
is Real Richmond. So I think Real Richmond gonna solve some problems tonight. Real Richmond is gonna
Listen, we
solve some
gonna solve
problems.
them. Listen.
Listen. So I'll start by saying this, that when you think about life, you are the only person you are guaranteed to be with from the day that you're born until the day that you die. You're the only person. You can't
Wow.
count on anybody else being there for you but you. So, since that's the case, what I've learned to do, and what I want those who are listening to learn to do, is you have to really be honest with yourself about yourself.
Mm.
Because if I'm not honest with me, and I don't, the more I lie to myself, the less I can trust my decisions, right?
Wow.
The more honest with myself I am. So, if I say I'm going to go to the gym, I have to go to the gym. Otherwise, I won't believe me any further. So, having said that, I've got to be honest with my emotions, right?
Mm.
Because I'm the only one I'll ever be with. Whether we're arguing or whether we're happy, it doesn't matter. No matter what I'm going through, I've got to make sure that I'm good with me and that I'm honest with me, and that I give myself the opportunity to really evaluate and assess what I feel.
Mhm.
Because if I'm going to lie to me, I can't trust you to be honest with me. I've got to make sure that I'm honest with myself first.
Wow. That's hot. But did you really have to use like the gym though?
Listen, fam, I haven't been either. So
Can we just
yeah,
yikes?
I
Okay.
yeah,
No, but I think, that's amazing though. That if being that I'm gonna be with me for the rest of my life, and if I can't trust me,
if I can't trust me, then and
then
again to that point, if I can't trust me, I stop believing that I can trust myself to make decisions,
wow,
right?
wow,
So
that's good.
that's where a lot of people stay stagnant because they stop
Mhm.
trusting that they can trust themselves.
Wow. That'll preach.
Yeah,
Man, that'll preach. But and I think that it's so important that we be able to trust ourselves,
that's right.
so that the one that you committed to can
That's
trust
right.
you.
That's right.
And when we talk about trusting ourselves, we are first we are we can be on a spectrum sometimes.
That's right.
We can be extreme, we can be up or we can be down, but no matter what
Yeah,
end of the spectrum you're on, I still want to be able to trust you.
I want to trust. Yeah,
I want to be able to trust you, and I want
yeah,
to be able to trust that what you're saying to me is coming from a pure place.
That's right.
I want to be able to trust that you're not saying this out of because you're trying to manipulate me to get an answer that you want to
That's
hear.
right.
I want to be, and that's even within yourself. Like
Yeah.
I don't want to manipulate my own self. And
Yeah.
I think we talk about, I think oftentimes we always talk about people manipulating us, but how many times do we really have a conversation about how we manipulate our own selves?
That's right.
We
That's
trick
right.
our own selves to believe something that is not true.
That's
That's
correct.
dope. I love that.
Yeah.
So if that being the case, how do we effectively communicate our truth though? When we know what we're feeling and we're honest with what we're feeling, how do we effectively communicate that without being offensive, without, you know, making a mess of it or coming across too aggressive?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think the first thing is you have to own it, right? So you have to own my truth. The more I own it, the more I can cater my truth to who I'm speaking to.
Mhm.
If I don't own my truth, it's hard for me to cater it because I don't really know what I feel. So I have to first own it. But the second thing, this is most important, I think, sis, is I've got to be in a relationship with people who can handle my truth, right? If you can't handle my truth, I'm in trouble
Right.
because now you're asking me to lie to
A
you
lot.
and to a certain degree to myself for the entirety of our relationship. Um, I think the third piece is understanding who I'm speaking to and knowing how to cater my language to meet their need or their ego, for that
Mhm.
matter, right? So knowing them well enough to know, I can tell my sister Liz, I can tell Elizabeth something this way, but I maybe have to cater it for my other cousin over here this way. So I have to know each of you to know how to articulate those hard feelings. I think those three things are key. I think the fourth thing is timing, just knowing
Mm.
when to share, when to execute that conversation. Sometimes we're talking too soon or too late, so you have to know the timing of when to share those emotions.
That's good. I share a lot uh, with ladies when we're, because sometimes we want to talk about it right now. Like I
Yeah,
want to, I need to. It's on my. I got to get this off my chest, and
yeah,
I need to say what I need to say. But there's some wisdom.
that's right.
There's wisdoms in timing,
That's
because
right.
at the end of the day, you really want to be heard.
That's right.
I just don't want to talk.
You
I
want to
want
be
to
heard.
be heard,
That's right.
because if I'm heard, then we can address what I'm feeling and why we're, and I can get some clarity,
That's right.
right?
Yeah,
And so oftentimes we want to be so heard that now you have my attention. You don't have the verbiage, the language to articulate effectively to get it across from out of your emotions to his head, to
that's
his
right.
to his ear. Because
That's right.
sometimes as ladies, and I'm just saying, some of us, don't write me, some of us, we are emotional. We communicate from an emotional place, and that can include tears, that can include shouting, it can, and the brothers is like, I'm really trying to go with you, but you're all over the place. And
That's
I
right.
think it's because we did not take the time just to kind of sit in it and try to, kind of, let's sift this out and
Yeah.
find out what's really truth, what's really my feelings, and what really needs to come across. I'll be honest. I mean, I used to give your brother Hades. He would get it all, because I just need to say this and da, da, da. But I had to be careful how I said it. It's not so much what I said, it's how I said it and how it was interpreted.
Yeah.
So saying that, how important is it that we don't, because I hear this all the time, well, it's not my job to kind of um I don't get to just kind of, it's not my job to kind of cater to how you feel about what I just said.
Hmm.
How true is that?
Well, a couple things. So I'm gonna take a few minutes here if you don't mind.
Sure.
Okay. So the first thing that I would highlight to what we're saying right now, I'm hearing you hold women accountable, and I want to make sure we hear that you're holding women accountable, but I want to make sure that I'm holding men accountable as well. A part of why some of you ladies are frustrated and do have to yell at times and do have to feel like you have to spill everything at one time is because in many cases we're not giving you enough space to talk
Mm-hmm.
over time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if the only time we talk is every 2 to 3 weeks, you're going to harbor more frustration, and then that frustration is going to spill out in one conversation. And now I'm overwhelmed because I can't keep up with everything you just said. So we as men have to give you more opportunities to check in every day. How you feeling? Is there anything you need to talk about? Right. To that point, What I would say is it is important. The word communication is comprised of two words. The word calm, that word calm means together. And then the
Mm-hmm.
word mune, the other word means mission or to move, right? And so we mean communication means to move together. So your question is, well, how is it my responsibility to cater my words to meet their ego or to match their need, right? It's absolutely important if you want the conversation to be a communication. If you want
Right.
both of us to move together, then I'm going to have to adjust what I say and how I say it. In fact, it is irresponsible for me to not do that. Let me prove it. If I were to go to Japan, I can't get frustrated because all they speak is Japanese. I'm going to have to cater my language if I want to really communicate with them to meet their need. This is their language. If I were to go to Korea, I would have to adjust my language because they speak Korean. So if I'm talking to the person I'm in front of, they speak a different dialect than me. I'm going to have to adjust that. If I
Right.
don't, I'm really irresponsible with my words. So we have to adjust if we're going to communicate with one another.
Right. Right. Yeah,
I know
that's
I took the long road, sis.
no,
I'm
no,
sorry.
no. That's real talk because oftentimes we don't feel how. And can I just throw this out here? Sometimes, and this is what I've just kind of seen. Sometimes we don't feel we need to do that, and I think that's a level of, that's almost selfish.
It's
Like I
very
don't,
selfish.
I,
Yeah,
I think that's a level of selfishness, and I say it all the time. Marriage is not for kids. It's not for selfish people.
it is not.
It's not you.
Yeah,
It's a sacrifice, but not to the degree of, oh my God, I gotta give up myself. When I love you, I don't have a problem.
that's correct.
When I look at my spouse and this is my lifelong partner, whatever it's gonna take to make this person feel safe with me,
Yeah,
to be comfortable with me, if I gotta tone down and push back a little bit, why would I not?
I think on a deeper level too, to your point, if we are one flesh, I'm really doing you the favor when I cater my needs to you, right? And I'm also doing myself the favor because we're one. So if we're one flesh, I got to do me a favor by
Yeah,
adjusting how I speak to you because we are one.
we are
I think
one.
we miss the opportunity to serve one another that way. So, we look at equity and equality in relationships, and why don't you go first and you do more than me, and I do more for you than, and if
Who's
we're one,
keeping count?
who's keeping count? If we're one flesh, I'm doing it for me, right?
Mhm,
So
mhm.
my adjusting my speech is not doing it because of any other reason. Then if I would do it for myself, I want to adjust for me. And if you are me, I'm going to adjust for you as well. That takes the selfishness out of it.
I heard you say a word there, servitude.
Oh, that's a heavy word for me.
How important is servitude? What does that look like? Against what we've seen and what we've been taught throughout the generations, our grandparents, and oftentimes we hear it. I mean, I've seen it a lot. Marriages aren't staying together like our grandparents was, but there was a level of servitude.
Yeah. 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 Mark chapter 10, I think it's 10 and 40 says, he who desires to be great among you must be servant of all.
Mhm,
He who desires to be first must be your slave.
mhm.
When I learned that, what I realized is that my greatness as a man, as a husband, as a father is contingent on my capacity to serve.
Yeah.
Leadership is servitude. In
Mhm.
order to be great, you have to serve great.
Yeah.
So if you look at any great marriage, and I'm not talking about great on camera, I'm not talking about great on Instagram. I don't mean Facebook great. I
Come on.
mean behind the scenes great,
Behind the exactly.
when nobody's looking great. Any great marriage
We
like
can
that,
tell.
we can tell. Oh,
We
we
can
see it.
tell. We
Yeah.
see it.
Those people serve.
Yeah.
You will find servitude somewhere in the fabric of that relationship. And so
Mhm.
if you don't want to serve, don't get married. Don't
Don't.
do that. Mm-mm.
Don't. Because the thing about service and serving, um, I want to hear how I can please you.
That's correct.
Let's talk about that because,
Yeah,
you know, in after so many years, we forget that that's still necessary.
absolutely.
Servitude is necessary, and it is okay to ask your spouse, how can I please you?
You have
I
to.
don't think we have those conversations. We think
We
it
have
becomes
to.
automatic. And I think that's the part, as you spoke earlier, about communication.
Yeah.
I want to be able to come together and serve you and serve you well.
Yeah. When my wife and I were younger, I didn't know how to be a husband or a father. So I would bring her flowers every Friday because I saw my buddy do that for his wife. So every Friday I bring her flowers. And over time, I just realized that there wasn't a lot of excitement around the flowers. And I asked her one day, I said, well, why don't, I'm bringing flowers. She said, you know what? I didn't realize I did that, but I come to find out I don't like flowers.
Wow.
Now, fast forward to 2023, she starts a floral business, right? So 20 years ago, she didn't like flowers. Now she has a whole business. The moral of that story is what it took to get her is not necessarily what it'll take to keep her, right? We have to adjust perpetually because we're always growing. I'm not the same person today
There
that I
we go.
was yesterday, right?
Mhm,
I don't like the same things today. And so asking, how can I best serve you?
mhm,
It's always on point. You can always ask that question. You must ask that question because you don't know.
mhm, mhm. Listen, you said so much there because I believe, I totally wholeheartedly and I share this, that who you marry, who you say I do to on that beautiful crystal clear day, 15 years later, that is not going to be the same person. And you
The
should
next
be okay
day,
the next day. But
they
you
were
should
single when
want,
you said I do. They're
absolutely,
no longer single.
you should want them to evolve. And so let me ask this. I mean, you see it and you counsel and you see couples all the time. Could you speak to the fact of giving each other permission to become their own individual?
Mm,
Because yes, we're a couple, but at the end of the day, I'm still Liz. He's
yeah,
still Mike.
yeah,
That's still Kevin. That's still Amy.
yeah,
The power of your individuality
yeah,
is what makes you a power couple. Not because y'all
yeah,
got a Rolls Royce, not
yeah,
because you have a big house, but because you allowed me to become. You
yeah.
allowed me to evolve. You allowed me to be the better me. You allowed me to grow and to come into my own. Can you speak to that for those couples that are struggling and have an identity crisis, or for the wife or the husband that won't evolve because they kind of feel like I might kind of grow a little more or a little further than my spouse?
So Richmond is about to speak. So just
Come on, Rich.
let's let the
Just
city know
let it.
that
Hey, y'all,
Richmond
tap in. Here we go.
Richmond is about to speak. The whole city. Let's gather the city. What I would say to that is this: Eve was made and formed from a rib. Had she not been allowed to become all that she needed to be, had Adam just wanted her to stay rib, he would have only viewed her as a piece of meat for the entirety of their marriage.
Whoa.
So, who do you want me to really be if you don't want me to evolve, right? If all I can be for you is a piece of meat, then I don't want to be in this relationship because
Right.
I need to be with someone who will not just allow me to grow, but encourage me to grow, right?
Mm-hmm.
I need you to push me to my best self.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, to the point of you won't let me talk fear around you because you know there's growth on me, right? So you have to be with someone who allows you to grow. It's imperative.
Wow. Wow. That
Yeah.
is amazing. Absolutely amazing. Dude, that was real right there. I would only become a piece of meat. But
We don't
how
want that.
often do we see that though? I mean, you just opened my eyes to something great. How often do we see? I've seen and I've heard of individuals that'll say, she's good just because she's my first lady, or he's good, just to be, they put them in these boxes and that's it. Like
Yeah.
you can be on the front row with a hat, that's it.
There's some danger to that. And the danger to that is when that person finally discovers who they really are, they'll crush you,
Yeah.
right? They'll end up hurting you because they're going to outgrow your capacity to cover them because your ego won't let them be anything further, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can't be with anybody that will hinder your growth.
Yeah.
You become now a tumor to the marriage. I'm actually a tumor if you don't let me grow.
Wow.
Because all I'm doing is sucking the life out of you. Yeah. You got to let me grow so I don't become tumorous to you. Because if all I can do is rely on your brilliance, we are in trouble.
Incredible.
Yeah.
We are
We are in
definitely.
trouble.
Listen, you have said something there. When when is it, or how does one have the conversation if they recognize that? Like, how do they sit down and again communicate like, hey, I'm noticing that every time I try to either launch out or I have this creativity, you kind of don't support, or you kind of, say things that kind of make me second guess. Again, you're my spouse, you're who I share my hopes and my dreams with, but every time I come to you, you kind of shoot me down. How does that one person bring it up, or how can they come to a place of communicating that? Because that other person, let's be honest, they may not know.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I would. So, that's kind of a generalized statement. And I think that each couple's different. But what I will say this is, sis, is it sounds like the person on the other end of that conversation is not in a place where they can hear you anyway. You need a therapist. Yeah. You need a third party to come in. No, that's real.
I'm sorry.
No, for real. Because sometimes you cannot communicate it and they can't hear it. So you need somebody to come in and say, this is what sis is really trying to say, or this is what bruh is really trying to say. Yeah, because if you don't hear me, you gotta get somebody who you do hear.
Yeah, somebody that's gonna give you a receipt at the end of that.
This is correct. An invoice. My God.
You're gonna need an invoice.
Yeah, you need an invoice. The help we need requires an invoice.
Listen.
And it's okay.
Absolutely. And it's okay though, because listen, therapy is amazing.
Amazing.
Let's just go on and just put that out here, because unfortunately we kind of like the end of that generation where we're just now coming into therapy. We just now, it is okay. You can still have Jesus and a therapist and still love the Lord and have a therapist, but it is necessarily because we're still talking about two becoming one. And you come from so much childhood trauma, and so much has happened in your house. And here I am trying to bake pies and fan flies, and it's not connecting. How important. I had a guest on, and they said the first thing I would recommend to any couple is to go to therapy.
Yeah.
The first thing is to go to therapy. What say you? What do you think?
Absolutely. Therapy. Couple things. So therapy, and I think when couples are really trying to restore and reconcile in some areas of their life, one of the challenges is you're trying to find the romance in your marriage. And sometimes you can't find romance until you find friendship. So therapy and really leaning in on developing that friendship again, becoming best friends again, that leads to a deeper level of transparency and vulnerability, which now we can get to some romance. So therapy, friendship, romance, in that order.
Now you hit two of my favorite words, friendship and romance. I think my husband is like my best friend. Now he may say, girl, you need a girlfriend to be your best friend, but my husband, because
your spouse should be your best friend.
My spouse is my best friend. Like he gets all of the juice. He gets everything. He gets my fears. He gets my excitement. He is just like my best friend. But I've been told, I know, I won't share their names. Lord, I almost said something. But I know of individuals that'll be like, my wife is my wife and my boy is my boy.
There's nobody that is more important to me than my wife, period. Now, my wife is my best friend. I think your spouse should be your best friend. Now, what I will say is this: your spouse cannot handle all your needs.
Yeah.
All right. So you do need it. You do need at times someone else you can talk to. My wife is my best friend. I have two other married men that are my second and right. So they're my outside my home best friends. But my wife is my priority. These guys help me become a better husband for my best friend. Right.
Yeah.
So they support the work she's doing.
Wait, say that one more time. They help me to be a better husband for my best friend.
Absolutely. I don't hang out with men that don't make me better for my wife. I just do not.
Okay, stop, time out. We do not hang around individuals that do not help us to become better to our spouses.
I don't do it. If you can't help me be better for her, I don't need you around me. Because when it's all said and done, I've got to make sure that I guard what we have, right? So everything around me has to support what we have. If you don't, you have to go, because you won't be here when I'm sick. You're not here when I'm hungry, right? So no, you got to support that. My friends, Absolutely. In fact, not only do they support, they correct me. I'll
Yeah.
post something on social. I posted something on social media a couple of days ago. My buddy hit me and said, "Hey, you got to delete that, bud.
Yeah.
I don't want any woman thinking they even stand a chance with you."
That's
He
right.
called me to tell me to delete it so that it protects my wife.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's who you need to have around you.
Everybody needs those friends that are not fans.
That's correct.
I'm gonna say
Yep.
that again.
Yep.
Everybody needs friends that are not
That's
fans.
correct.
You
Yeah,
need people in your life that don't see you as an idol.
that's correct. If they're gonna be close to you,
If they're, I
you
tell
don't need no
people, if you're gonna
fans.
be my friend,
Yeah,
I need you not to let me out be out here tacky.
don't
Don't
do
let me
that.
be out here thinking I'm doing something and my, as my grandma would say, my slip is showing.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
Tell me,
Yep.
tell me that that's not a good look. Tell me
Yep.
that that's not. Be my friend.
Be my
Don't keep
friend.
me tagging like you see her. Tell me,
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, you know, you saying that you're my friend and you're being in my circle and you have access and you know how much I value marriage. You know how
Yeah.
much I love my spouse. Then by all means, as a friend, I give you permission to.
Yeah. You need to, or get away from me. Yeah.
Or if you can't do that, then yeah,
You got to
you
go.
definitely have to go. Now,
Yep.
friendship.
Hmm.
What does friendship look like in a marriage?
Between a husband and spouse, or
Yeah, friendship between a husband and a spouse, husband and wife.
I think it's not expecting that person to be your everything. I think friendship becomes convoluted when I expect you to cover every base in my life.
Now talk about that, because sometimes I hear that, you know, he's my everything. And I've even said it loosely speaking.
Yeah.
I know better. But what happens when your spouse talk to that? Because sometimes it's
Yeah.
unhealthy.
My wife is everything I need, but she's not my everything. There's a difference. She's everything I need. She is everything that I need in a wife. But there are some conversations I need to have with a man who's married, right? Who knows how to process some of the things you're going through. As a 48 going on 49, I need to talk to a man who has been through that or is going through it. My wife can't help me with some of this stuff, right? So she covers my heart, but there are some things that I need outside counsel for, and that's where friends come in. But she's my, again, we are best friends.
Mhm. I love it. I love it. Let's talk about that word called romance.
Yeah.
I love romance.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it, because oftentimes I get hit up and say, you know what? Why do I always have to be the first one to kind of start this fire?
Yeah. Now, when you
Bruh,
say romance, are you talking about sexual intimacy or
sexual
or
intimacy,
sexual
just
intimacy?
romance, just the whole, you know,
The whole,
send me a nice text, you
yeah,
know. We can break it up, sexual romance, and you know, just the fact that I want to feel wanted.
yeah.
Let me just say this. How important is it for brothers to feel wanted or to know that they're
Oh,
wanted? Because
it's so important.
that's a place, ladies. We we're not really on our game with that, because we think it's all about us. Tell me I'm
Yeah.
cute. Tell me I'm beautiful. But how important is it for brothers to hear that?
So first, I'll say that we have been trained to not expect that. They told us that the wedding is not even about us, right? It's about her, and you just get to show up. So that's been the training we've had for the entirety. Happy wife, happy life. We've heard that all the time. So now there are so many men who are silent and needing more from their spouses and don't know how to say it, or have not been given the grace or the space to say it in the relationship. But men have needs that they're not expressing. We want to feel wanted as well.
Like what? Tell us.
We just want to be so it's not even sexual, right?
Right. Thank you. Okay.
Men, there's a word that men need, and we often don't even know how to say it. The word is awareness. Awareness.
Type that, y'all.
We
Awareness.
need you to be aware of us. What awareness means is aware of what's going on with us, aware that we just got off work and we may not have enough capacity for this conversation, aware that we've been working 7 days in a row. And so to ask me to build a shelf when I just got one day off, you're not really being aware of what's going on with me. So awareness goes a long way with men. And if you can be aware of where a man is and what he needs, it changes everything.
Wow. That's good. Hey friends, extra, extra, read all about it. Mike and Lizzie in the Marriage Toolbox is about to partner with Lovers for Life as they present their After 5 banquet entitled The Love Language. We are so excited to join Lady Renee Allen and Superintendent Rodney Allen for this extravaganza. You don't want to miss this banquet dining experience. Listen, it's Saturday, May 4th from 5 to 9 p.m. at the Dan Foley Cultural Center, 1499 North Camino Alto in Vallejo, California. Go on and do me a favor. Click on the information on this flyer. Get your tickets. They're going fast. Call them or text them 707-820-7601. Tell them Mike and Lizzie told you to knock on their door because you want to come in. We'll see you there. Bye-bye. Hey, our favorite couples. Guess what? Mike and Lizzie right here at the Marriage Toolbox. We feel like giving away a gift. How about we gift you with the photo shoot with Studio 237? Do us a favor. Share with us your love story. By April 26th, you may be selected for this gift.
Couple things. So therapy, and I think when a couples are really trying to restore and reconcile in some areas of their life, one of the challenges is you're trying to find the romance in your marriage. And sometimes you can't find romance until you find friendship. So therapy and really leaning in on developing that friendship again, becoming best friends again, that leads to a deeper level of transparency and vulnerability, which now we can get to some romance. So therapy, friendship, romance, in that order.